Hi friends, this is Joe. This is episode number 166, I believe, of the Decahedron RPG podcast. And this week was supposed to be a T&D combat demonstration, but I wanted to have more than one character in the party, and I thought I should introduce the other character that I made. So that's what we're going to do this week. Let's do it. All right, so I made another character, and I wanted to do a wizard because we already have a warrior, and I thought that would show both sides of the TNT character spectrum. Of course, we have that one in the middle of the rogue, and of course, we have the other one in the middle of the wizard warrior, but no. Anyway, so I made a wizard. And I'm going to be honest, when I rolled up the first character, the stats weren't good for a wizard. So I rolled up, and by good, I meant, yeah, I could say it was a wizard, but it couldn't cast any spells because to cast a first level spell in Tunnels and Trolls, you need an intelligence of 10 and a dexterity of 8. And so then I made a second character and a third one and a fourth one. And finally, that was the one that was able to be a wizard, and the stats were actually really good across the board, and I was like, oh wow, that's all you have to do to make a good character is to roll up 5 of them. Coincidentally, for the first 4 of those, I used those little Tunnels and Trolls dice that I used last week, and finally, I said, okay, these dice are cursed, and I grabbed another set of dice, and that's when I rolled the high numbers. And, James and I always tease each other about this. He says that there's bad dice, and I said, no, that's not the way probability works, but, he might be onto something. Anyway, let's talk about Seraphina. I have her character sheet right here. That's the thing I love about, one of the things I love about Tunnels and Trolls is, look at the character sheet. Look at how small that is. Of course, not everything's filled out because I didn't need it for everything. But, yeah, gaming used to be like that. You didn't need these big books of character sheets. So, her name is Seraphina. Like I said, I made a female because the last character was a male. Strength is 14. Intelligence is 13. Luck is 14, Constitution is 11, Dex is 10, and Charisma is 14. Those are really good stats. So as it stands right there, that's a combat adds of +4. Not bad. Better than Clayfoot's. Actually, no, Clayfoot's balances out. So it's better than Clayfoot's. So this would actually make a good warrior, a better warrior than Clayfoot, especially with what I'm about to do. But I said I was going to make a wizard, darn it, and this is going to be a wizard. So Kindred. So I showed the chart last week, if you're watching on YouTube, about all the possible Kindred types and the one I chose and why. And this one, I was going to say, let's just do human. But there's another kindred that doesn't show up on the chart. If you look further down in the book, not in the book, on the same page, off to the right on the bottom. If you're on YouTube, I'm probably showing you a picture of that page right now. But it talks about were types. And it says, yeah, sure, player characters can be wares. So I was like, why not make Seraphina a werebear? And this brings up one of the things I love about Tunnels and Trolls is people say, there's only 4 character types: wizard, warrior, and rogue, which again stands for rogue wizard, not thief. And that's not enough. And I think that's all you need, and it gives you the freedom to play the character that you want. And so now I have this magical werebear type character, and I'm like, isn't that a druid? I have this character that can change into a bear and cast spells. It's a druid, so I will play her like a druid. And I'm not playing her in a campaign, so it doesn't count. But if I were playing her in a campaign, when I went up in levels and when I sought out new spells, I would seek out those spells and I would work with the GM to say, what if her branch of the Wizard Guild specializes in druidry and wizard and wilderness magic? I can't imagine any DM in the universe, GM, referee, judge, saying no to that. Right, that's cool. That adds richness to the world. It's not being a munchkin. It's adding depth. You're not saying give me these extra powers. You're saying take away these other things to give me something interesting. I think that's cool. So in her Werebear form, this is a little munchkin-y now, following the formulas in the book. When she changes form, her strength is 49. You heard me right, 49. And her dexterity goes down to 3, and her constitution goes up to 35. So that changes her combat adds to a plus 33. So in were form, she can't use any weapons. She doesn't have hands, right? She has paws. But she has big bear claws on the end of her paws. And in TNT, in 5th edition at least, attacking with no weapon means that you get 1 die. So 1 die plus 33. That is pretty darn good. That's an average roll of 39 and a half per, 39 and a half. 39 and a half per turn. Hi friends, this is Joe. This is the next day. What you just watched, I recorded yesterday, and as I was doing the edit, I realized, hey, I never talked about equipment or height and weight or the gold, which leads to equipment, or stuff like that. So I made the character sheet, and the rest of this episode, I'm just gonna go over the character sheet step by step and talk about anything I didn't talk about yesterday, and then that's it. So let's do that. If you're listening to the podcast, I'm going to try to make this as non-visual as possible. But if you're watching on YouTube, you can see the character sheet on the screen right now. On the top of the character sheet is the character's name. I chose Seraphina, mainly because that was the name I was going to use last week before the character became a dwarf. So I just figured reuse the name. Then we have the block of stats. We've already talked about them, so I'll just list them quickly. Strength is a 14 when in human form. When in Werebear form, it's a 49. IQ is 13 in both forms. Luck is 14 in both forms. Constitution is 11 in human form and 38 in Werebear form. Dex is 10 in human form and 3 in Werebear form, and charisma is 14. Our adds in human form, we get 2 for strength and 2 for luck and none for dex, so that comes out to a plus 4. In Werebear form, we get a bunch, 30 something for strength, and we get 2 for luck, but we get -6 for the dex, so the total is plus 33 for our personal adds. For our missile adds, it's plus 4. It's the same exact math as the normal adds because our dex is 10, so that doesn't add or take away from anything. However, in Werebear form, it's only plus 27 compared to plus 33 because our dex drops down to that 3. And I don't know what kind of missile attack she would use in Werebear form anyway, so it really doesn't make a difference. Kindred is Werebear, as we've been saying. Gender is female. Type is wizard. Level is 1. Height is 5 foot 6 inches. I rolled that up on those random charts. Interesting thing about the random charts is it gives the heights, and then it says if you want to be chauvinistic about it, females can be 2 inches shorter and 10 pounds lighter. And that just struck me as weird because it's a biological reality. There's nothing chauvinistic about it. Men are taller than women on average, and taller isn't better. It's just different. So I don't know. But anyway, I did that adjustment. In Werebear form, she's 6 foot 3 inches. I didn't roll for that. I just looked up the average height of a grizzly bear, and that's what I went with for female grizzly bear. Weight, I rolled up 160 pounds. In Werebear form, it's 300 pounds. There are currently no adventure points or experience points. Gold, I rolled up 110 gold pieces for a starting wealth. And out of that, I've only spent 10, and we'll get to the expenditures in a second. So weight carried is very low. It's only for that one quarterstaff that she's carrying. So there's that. Armor worn, I said none because in the section about using a were creature as your kin, it says that you have to take off everything before you change form, or it will get ruined, or if it's like plate mail or something, you will get ruined and you'll just get turned into goo, which isn't good. So to avoid all that, she just doesn't wear armor at all, because with the stats going the way they do, that is her main combat tactic, is to change forms. Weapon is a quarterstaff. I figured it's easy to carry. It acts as a 6-foot pole. You can drop it real easy when you're going to change its forms. All that fun stuff. And with a quarterstaff, she attacks at 2d plus 4. In bear form, she has no weapon, but she does 1d plus 33, which is just outrageous. For magic items, she has a quarterstaff, which is a makeshift magical staff. So in Tunnels and Trolls, if you're a wizard and you're casting magic through a staff, you get to reduce the number of points the spell costs by your level if you're using the staff. And there's 3 types of staffs. There's an ordinary staff, there's a deluxe staff, and there's a makeshift staff. And a makeshift staff is any piece of wood that you cast a certain spell on. But when you cast the spell, there's a chance it will fail and destroy the item altogether. And a staff only costs 10 gold pieces, so I was like, I'll risk it. And I bought the staff. And when you cast a spell, you have to make a level 1 saving roll on luck. In Tunnels and Trolls, that means you roll 2d6 and add your luck, and you need to get a 20 or better. That's what level 1 means, is that you need a 20. For level 2, you need a 25. For level 3, you need a 30. For level 4, you need 35, etc. So because my luck is 14, I needed a 6 or better. I rolled exactly a 6. The other thing about saving throws, which I should probably mention, is that if you roll doubles, you get to add them in and roll again, which is like how you might get a 25 on 2d6. All right. Languages. She's a human, so she speaks Common. And as we said last week, you get 1 roll on the language table for every point of intelligence above 12. Her intelligence is a 13, so she got 1 roll. Of course, it's a percentile roll, and your biggest chance is to come up with Common. So there was actually a chance that she would know no other languages. But she rolled a 63, which on the table is Dwarfish, which is perfect because she's going to be in this combat with Clayfoot, and that's the only language he speaks. So the dice were really in my favor today. I did not plan that. I did not re-roll that. I just totally lucked out. Others, I said that she wears a simple Hays Code buckskin shift that survives changing form. By Hays Code, that's that old movie code that was the decency code. And I just mean that so we don't say when she changes back, she's like naked. It's kind of like how when David Banner would change into the Hulk in the old TV show, no matter what happened to the rest of his clothes, his pants somehow always stayed on. And even when he changed back from the Hulk to David Banner. So, yeah, there you go. Anyway, so that's all she wears. And like I said, buckskin because it's natural. I said I picture her as a druid. And I don't know, that was a natural look. This simple thing that will just be part of her transformation. She doesn't have to worry about it. Second to last note there says that she can cast all first level spells when in human form only. It doesn't actually say anything about casting spells in the book. But it does say, in where form that is, it does say that your dex is dropped to 3. And like I said before, you need a minimum dex of 8 to cast even a first level spell. So that automatically disqualifies any were creature from casting spells when they're in their alternate form. Yeah, and then finally I just have a note on the bottom saying that whenever 2 things are listed, the one in brackets is for her bear form. So that's the character sheet. All right, well, that's it for this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Next week is the monthly mega review for Tunnels and Trolls. And a week after that, I guess, we will do the Tunnels and Trolls combat to let you see it rather than just hearing everybody's thoughts about it. Thanks again for watching and or listening. And until next week, happy gaming, happy life. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Decahedron RPG podcast. Please come back again to the Decahedron RPG podcast.